She was one of the most famous entertainers in the world. Her face was known across continents, her performances drew adoring crowds. Her name was synonymous with glamour and celebrity. She could travel where others could not, cross borders that would have stopped ordinary people, move through the highest circles of society, and be welcomed everywhere as a star. And it was precisely this fame, this universal recognition, that made her one of the most unlikely and effective secret agents of the war. For while the world saw a celebrated performer, she was secretly carrying intelligence for the Allied cause, hiding sensitive information in the most ingenious of places, including written in invisible ink upon her sheet music. This is the story of how a world-famous entertainer used her celebrity as the perfect cover for espionage, turning her fame into a weapon in the fight against tyranny. This is a story about the unexpected uses of fame, about how celebrity could become the perfect disguise for the dangerous work of espionage. It is a story about courage and conviction, about a famous and successful woman who risked everything to fight against an evil she could not abide. And it is a story about ingenuity, about the clever ways that a secret agent could hide intelligence and carry out her dangerous work under the very noses of the enemy, protected by the unlikely shield of her own celebrity. To understand how fame could become a tool for espionage, you have to understand the particular advantages that celebrity offered to a secret agent. A famous entertainer occupied a unique position in society. She was known and recognized everywhere, welcomed into the highest circles, able to travel and move about in ways that would have aroused suspicion if attempted by others. Her fame opened doors, granted her access, and provided a ready explanation for her movements and activities. Where an ordinary person traveling across borders or moving through elite social circles might attract scrutiny, a famous entertainer doing the same was simply going about her glamorous life. Her celebrity was, in a sense, the perfect cover. This is the great irony at the heart of her story. One might think that fame would be a disadvantage for a secret agent, that the need for secrecy and discretion would be incompatible with being known and recognized everywhere. But in fact, her fame worked to her advantage. Because she was a celebrated entertainer, her presence in various places, her travels, her interactions with people of influence and importance, all seemed natural and unremarkable. No one suspected that the famous performer, going about her public life, might be secretly carrying intelligence for the Allied cause. Her very visibility made her invisible as a spy, for no one looked for espionage behind the glamorous facade of celebrity. The entertainer in this story was deeply committed to the Allied cause, moved by a profound opposition to the evil of the regime she worked against. She was not a reluctant or accidental agent, but a committed one, driven by conviction to take on the dangerous work of espionage. She could have continued her glamorous career, enjoying her fame and success, staying safely out of the dangerous struggle. But her convictions would not allow it. She was determined to contribute to the fight against the regime, to use whatever advantages she possessed in the service of the cause. And her fame, she realized, gave her unique advantages that she could put to valuable use. Now, we should be honest about the history here, because the story of a world-famous entertainer who served as a secret agent during the war is real and well documented, and it deserves to be told with accuracy and admiration. What follows is grounded in the genuine record of such service, though we will tell it as a narrative to convey its full meaning. The core is true. A celebrated entertainer really did use her fame as cover to carry out espionage for the Allied cause, hiding intelligence in clever ways, including on her sheet music, and using her ability to travel and move in elite circles to gather and convey information. The details are recounted to honor her courage and convey the ingenuity of her work. The work that the entertainer carried out as a secret agent involved gathering and conveying intelligence, using her unique position to collect information valuable to the Allied cause. Her fame gave her access to people and places that could yield valuable intelligence. She moved in elite circles, interacted with influential people, attended events where important information might be gleaned. She could observe, listen, and gather information that might be useful to the Allies, taking advantage of the access that her celebrity provided. And then she had to convey this intelligence to those who could use it, carrying or transmitting the information she had gathered. This was the essence of her work as a secret agent. One of the most ingenious aspects of her espionage was the clever ways she hid the intelligence she carried. Carrying sensitive information was dangerous, for if it were discovered, It could expose her as a spy and lead to her arrest and worse. She therefore had to find ways to conceal the intelligence, to carry it without detection. And here her ingenuity came into play. Among the clever methods she reportedly used was hiding information on her sheet music written in invisible ink. As an entertainer, she would naturally carry sheet music which would not arouse suspicion. By writing intelligence on this sheet music in invisible ink, she could carry the information in plain sight, hidden upon something that seemed entirely innocent and appropriate to her profession. Consider the cleverness of this method. Sheet music was exactly the kind of thing that an entertainer would carry, entirely natural and unremarkable. No one would suspect that a performer's sheet music might contain hidden intelligence, and by using invisible ink, the information was concealed even if someone examined the sheet music, for the writing would not be visible to the naked eye. This combination of an innocent carrier, the sheet music, and a means of concealment, the invisible ink, made for an ingenious method of carrying intelligence. It exploited her profession, using the very tools of her trade as the means of concealing her espionage. It was a brilliant example of hiding in plain sight. The use of her fame and profession as cover extended beyond the hiding of intelligence to the whole conduct of her espionage. Her ability to travel, granted by her status as a touring entertainer, allowed her to move about and carry intelligence across borders. Her access to elite circles, granted by her celebrity, allowed her to gather information. Her performances and public activities provided cover for her secret work. The entire apparatus of her fame and profession became the framework within which she conducted her espionage, providing both the access she needed and the cover that protected her. Her career as an entertainer was, in a sense, transformed into a vehicle for her secret work. The courage that this work required was immense. Espionage was extraordinarily dangerous, carrying the risk of discovery, arrest, imprisonment, and execution. The entertainer, despite her fame and success, took on these risks, engaging in dangerous secret work that could have cost her everything. She had a glamorous life, a successful career, fame and fortune, all of which she put at risk by becoming a secret agent. Her willingness to take on these dangers, to risk her life and her career for the cause, reflected a profound courage and conviction. She was not content to enjoy her success while others fought and suffered, but chose to take on the dangers of espionage herself, despite all she had to lose. What does the entertainer's story reveal about the nature of courage and conviction? First and foremost, it demonstrates that courage and conviction can be found in unexpected places, that even those with much to lose may choose to risk everything for a cause they believe in. The entertainer had fame, success, and a comfortable life, all of which gave her reasons to stay out of the dangerous struggle. But her conviction drove her to take on the risks of espionage, despite all she had to lose. Her story is a powerful demonstration that courage is not the exclusive province of those with nothing to lose, that even the successful and the celebrated may choose to risk everything for what they believe in. The story also illustrates the clever and unexpected ways that people contributed to the struggle against tyranny, the diverse forms that resistance and service could take. The entertainer did not fight on a battlefield or carry a weapon. Her contribution took a different form, the gathering and conveying of intelligence through espionage, using her unique advantages as a famous entertainer. This illustrates the diversity of ways in which people contributed to the cause, the many different forms that service and resistance could take. Not all who served did so in the same way, and the entertainer's unique form of service, espionage conducted under the cover of celebrity, was a valuable contribution in its own distinctive way. Consider, too, the ingenuity that the entertainer's story reveals, the clever methods she used to conduct her espionage and hide her intelligence. The hiding of information on sheet music in invisible ink, the use of her fame and profession as cover, all reflected a clever and resourceful approach to the dangerous work of espionage. This ingenuity was essential to her success and her survival, allowing her to carry out her work without detection. Her story illustrates the importance of cleverness and resourcefulness in espionage, the way that clever methods and the exploitation of one's unique advantages could make possible the dangerous work of gathering and conveying intelligence. There is a profound lesson here about using whatever advantages one possesses in the service of a cause. The entertainer had a unique advantage, her fame, and she used it to great effect in the service of the Allied cause. Rather than seeing her celebrity as irrelevant to the struggle or as something to be protected and preserved, she recognized it as an asset that could be put to valuable use, and she used it accordingly. This illustrates the value of recognizing and using whatever advantages one possesses in the service of a cause one believes in. Each person has unique advantages, and the entertainer's story demonstrates the importance of putting those advantages to use for the greater good. It is worth reflecting on the contrast between the entertainer's public image and her secret work, the way that the glamorous performer was secretly a courageous agent. To the world, she was a celebrated entertainer, a figure of glamour and fame. But behind this public image, she was secretly engaged in the dangerous work of espionage, risking her life for the cause. This contrast between the public glamour and the secret courage is one of the most striking aspects of her story. It reminds us that people may be more than they appear, that behind a public image there may be hidden depths of courage and conviction. The glamorous entertainer was also a brave secret agent, a duality that makes her story all the more remarkable. Consider, as well, the significance of the entertainer's choice to use her fame for a noble purpose, rather than merely for personal benefit. She could have used her fame solely for her own advancement, her own enjoyment, her own benefit. Instead, she chose to use it in the service of a cause greater than herself, to contribute to the fight against tyranny. This choice to use her fame and advantages for a noble purpose reflects an admirable selflessness and commitment. It reminds us that those who possess advantages, whether fame or wealth or influence, have the opportunity to use them for the greater good, and that there is something admirable in choosing to do so. The entertainer's choice to use her fame for the cause is a powerful example of this. The story of the famous entertainer who served as a secret agent stands as a remarkable testament to the unexpected forms that courage and service can take, to the clever and ingenious ways that people contributed to the struggle against tyranny. It demonstrates that fame could become a tool for espionage, that celebrity could provide the perfect cover for dangerous secret work, and it stands as an inspiring example of courage and conviction, of a successful and celebrated woman who risked everything for a cause she believed in, using her unique advantages in the service of the fight against evil. Her story is a reminder of the diverse and unexpected ways that people served the cause of freedom. By the end of the war, the famous entertainer had compiled a remarkable record of service as a secret agent, using her fame and ingenuity to contribute to the Allied cause. Her story of a celebrated performer who secretly carried intelligence, hiding it in clever ways and using her celebrity as cover, stood as a testament to the unexpected forms that courage and service could take. She had used her fame not merely for her own benefit, but in the service of a noble cause, risking everything to fight against tyranny, and her contribution stood as an inspiring example of conviction and courage. So remember the famous entertainer who became a secret agent, the celebrated performer who used her fame as the perfect cover for espionage. Remember how her celebrity, far from being a disadvantage, gave her unique access and provided a ready cover for her dangerous secret work. Remember the ingenious methods she used, hiding intelligence on her sheet music in invisible ink, carrying secrets in plain sight under the cover of her profession. Remember the courage it took, the willingness to risk her fame, her success, and her life for the cause. And remember the deeper truths her story reveals, that courage can be found in unexpected places, that people can use whatever advantages they possess in the service of a cause, and that behind a glamorous public image there can lie hidden depths of courage and conviction, turning even fame itself into a weapon in the fight against tyranny.